Hello and welcome to my Flosstube number 3. My name is Jess and I go under the name Little by Piku, both here on Flosstube and on Instagram, and welcome to my channel. Super excited to be filming video number 3. If you're a new subscriber that's joined me over the last few weeks, welcome. And if you're a previous subscriber, I'm still quite new, so hopefully you're enjoying my content and videos, and it's fantastic to have you here. And again, as I said last week, I've been very overwhelmed with the amount of love and kindness and comments and likes and everything that's happened over the last few weeks. So please, if you do like this video, would love for you to subscribe, join in, write a comment, ask me a question, leave a like, just you do you, and I'm happy to engage and go from there. But I've got quite a bit this video. My floor surroundings is covered in things, so don't know if it's going to be a bit longer than my last couple of videos, but thought we'll just crack on and get through it. So first of all, so I've got quite a few, about 3 finishes to show you that I've done over, well, one I've done over the last 2 years, and it's finally complete. So I'll show those, but we'll get into the good stuff first, the finishes, and then I'll run through a little bit of my whips that I've got going on at the moment, followed by some haul. It was my birthday a few days prior to my last video, so I've done a bit of birthday shopping and had some more presents arrive over the time, and also some very, very amazing stitchy kindness that's arrived to me in the mail as well, along with a little treat for my New Zealand subscribers. And then I've got some plans and then a bit of live chat towards the end. So feel free to skip through to what you're interested in, but otherwise, let's get into it. First of all, just like to say thank you for all those entered in my last video for the giveaway of the Satsuma Street City design by Jodie Rice, Satsuma Street. And very happy to say that the winner is Hilary Allan. Thank you, and let me know if you can either to get in touch with me either via Instagram, direct message, Facebook, or otherwise just drop me through an email, my details in the information below. And would love for you to know what city you're going to pick to stitch and get that underway. Sort of jumping into, I guess, my future plans at the very start here. Satsuma Street released their other latest city design on Thursday, which is Pretty Little Greece, which is this one here. So yeah, very tempted, definitely going to stitch it. I've already bought the chart on PDF as well, and I've realised I have all the fabrics bar 2, so that's, I don't know if that's pretty good going of showing my DMC stash that I have of almost a full set, or whether that's bad of how many I do have, but I will get those last few and no doubt get this underway. So I'm just trying to decide when to start stitching it. All the other cities I've done, I've always been a monogamous stitcher, so just focus on that purely, and I love stitching it sort of building by building in groups. You kind of get sort of like what I consider like little mini finishes as you stitch through the city, as opposed to just doing bits of colour here, there and everywhere. So whether, I don't know, but now I've still got a few whips on the go, whether I'll just sort of slot it in and just work on bits at a time, but otherwise really keen to hear of anyone else who's also going to start it, whether we start sort of a stitch along or something along those lines. So yeah, feel free to comment below if you're also looking to start Pretty Little Greece in the next, I would like to say months, but I'll probably start in the next week or so. Don't know. I've got everything else ready to go. But otherwise, congrats, Hilary. Yeah, looking forward to either you join me on doing Greece or seeing what city, takes your fancy and what you're looking to stitch. So on to finishes. So we'll keep on the Satsuma Street roll. I have my first finish, which is a design that I started back, I purchased the pattern in January 2020, so this is feels like a lifetime ago in terms of what's happened in the last couple of years. But yeah, purchased it in January 2020. It is the Garden Party design. So I purchased this, the PDF was in both colorways, so I've got the warm and the cool colorways. So I decided first to stitch the warm colorway option. So yeah, started this in January. I took this project, we were super, super lucky to go on holiday to Brazil for the month of February in 2020. So this is a design that came with me and I stitched this on the plane. We were living in London at the time, so, get a good amount of stitching done on the flight. I can't recall if I did much stitching on holiday itself. We were there for about 3 weeks. And then looking back through some of my old photos, I finished in April 2020. So yeah, I think I was a little bit on and off, and then yeah, kind of went back to work, and then lockdown and everything happened, and then after I think I finished this one is when I got back into stitching again in the UK. So here is the finish. Ta-da! It's a cushion, and it's not just any cushion, it's an amazing cushion. So this one here is not 100% finished yet, basically I did not sew this cushion. I will take full credit for not sewing it. So the full credit does go to my mother. She is super amazing, super talented when it comes to quilting and crafting and sewing and everything along those lines. So I kind of put the pressure on her and I gave her the finished work, must have been earlier this year or last year, and I said, go for it, make a cushion, what could go wrong? So it's super daunting when you're turning, I think, any sort of cross stitch project, or when you're cutting into the fabric that the stitch is on, because as I said before, if you cut wrong, then you've got to just kind of make it work from there. But she has done an amazing job. So what's not finished is she sent me the cover up in an envelope, so it wasn't stuffed to save on postage, of course, so I stuffed it myself, but I haven't yet sewn it closed. I'm probably not the neatest stitcher when it comes to finishing off things like this, and Mum's coming up next weekend, so I thought, I may as well, give her full credit to the cushion and let her finish sewing it. But she's done an amazing job, so I'll insert some photos here of what she's done. And so just looking at I've just got some notes below. So she, first of all sent me the photo. She cut out the pattern herself. Again, very stressful. So thanks, Mum, for cutting into that. She picked this, I can ask her what fabrics they were. It's like an orangey and a lime green, which work quite well, I think, with the sort of colour tones of the pattern. And so then she made the, I guess, I don't know what you call it. I feel like the word is gusset, but maybe not, border panel around the sides. And then she, handmade the piping. So here's a picture of the piping of when she was putting it together and sewing it onto the front of the cushion. And then she, mastered the edge. And then this is the photo she sent me of it unstuffed. And I was very excited and very happy and looking forward to it arriving. So now it's another cushion to go on a seat not to be sat on. Well, the cushion's not to be sat on. So whether one day it'll end up on a bed or something like that. And now I'm just trying to decide, do I stitch the cool colorway as well and then pass it across to Mum to finish? I think so. So that will be maybe a future whip to do the other color to go with this one. But I love it. It's amazing. Thanks, Mum. You're an absolute star. And I'll feature some more things from Mum and later in this video as well. So that's my finish number 1. My second finish, I showed you my progress on this in my last video. It is Enchanted Forest by Una Buena Pieza, who sells her patterns on Etsy. She also has a really amazing Instagram account, and she did this most amazing sort of stitching on a park bench. So like a I don't know what you call it, but different parts of the world, park bench, garden seat with like a metal finish with holes in it. So her and her family and friends did I think it was like a thicker yarn. They stitched this design on this seat. I'll see if I'll insert a photo here if I can find it. But absolutely stunning. It was really cool. So definitely give her a follow on Instagram and check out her work. She does some beautiful designs and just seems like a really lovely person as well. So I finished Enchanted Forest, which is it here in its glory. So basically I decided to finish this sort of as a flat finish but in a frame. I'll share some photos of what I did. Hopefully you might find this interesting. I'm not someone that's going to film like tutorials, and I probably find myself, I get a bit but I watch tutorial videos and people just talk for a long time about all the different steps. I'm like, quick, next one, next step, let's get going. So I'll just put some photos here. So first of all, I just ironed some interfacing on the back. I figured that's the fastest, easier way then to be able to cut out the design. I then cut it out. I tried to get quite what's the word? I'm not very good at maths. And the geometric designing of how to cut the curves and the shapes and where to measure where. And then I kind of gave up. It was a bit too much, so I just kind of free cut it. And then I cut the design out, then I cut out a piece of foam board to go onto it. Again, I need to kind of master that, how to cut curves with a craft knife. We'll get there in the end. So I cut out the foam board, stretched place the fabric over that, and then used a few pins and just sort of pinned all around the edge, around the curve. What I then did is I just sort of laced the back of it. Again, this is my effort of lacing, maybe not the tidiest or most amazing lacing you've ever seen, but it does the job and holds it all in place. And then I got this frame from Kmart, which is New Zealand's sort of, they have it in Australia as well, but otherwise it's sort of, I guess, I don't know, Walmart, something similar, sort of homeware goods at a relatively cheap price. The frame was maybe $6 or $8, so again, it's not breaking the bank in terms of my framing efforts. But then I just got this tea towel, which is actually a Marimekko tea towel. I thought that the design of the tea towel, like with the black curves, sort of mirrors that of the dome shape. So I thought it looked quite cool together. I just stretched the tea towel over the back of the backing board of the frame. And then my attempts of lacing were a little bit neater, and then I sort of just gave up towards the top and the bottom and used tape. But you know, who sees the back of it? It looks lovely. And then I probably did like I used glue tack, depending on what you call it, just like tacky, sticky stuff you used to stick things on the walls. I'm not sure what it's called in different parts of the world, and I just glue tacked it on. So I figured, like, if I at a time want to change this around or do something different, then it's quite easy to just untack it, and if I want to, I can still use this particular fabric for something else or to mix it up. But I took the glass off the frame. I kind of like just the depth of this frame itself and thought it looks quite good recessed in there. But yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out. So that's my finish number 2. My third finish, and my last sort of finish for today, is I think this was a start and finish. I don't think I showed this last week, and I realized in my last video I didn't really show any plans of what I was going to stitch next. But I stitched this little design. So this is Tea Party by Lindsay Swearingen on she's on Etsy, YouTube, Instagram. She has a book that's come out recently, which I'm sure if you are on Instagram and you're sort of into the sort of spooky cross stitches, that she released called Creepy Cross Stitch, which I still need to figure out how to get my hands on a copy in New Zealand. But she does amazing sort of designs. Her book looks like it's super great value for money. I think there's like 20 odd projects in the book. So lots of sort of little ones like this. So I just finished this on black Aida. I had a whirl at using some metallic thread, which you can't really tell, but sort of in the white windows at the top, there's some silver thread in there if it's focusing. And then, yeah, just super cute. And I just decided to mount it on a piece of foam board and stick some black pom-pom trim around the side. So I haven't really done like flat finishes before. I don't really know. I guess maybe I need to watch some tutorials on how to sort of finish them properly and do the back, because I mean, I'll show you the back because, you know, this is the real world. So I just taped it on the back. I don't really know what to do next. I don't know whether do you get like another bit of board or something and mount fabric over it and stick it on the back, or I thought I could glue some fabric on the back, or yeah, I mean, I'm not sure whether this is going to be like hung, or at the moment it's sort of just placed on my desk or wherever I want it. So I think it's, yeah, super cute. Or I thought I could do the same sort of idea as the last one and mount it inside a frame. Yeah, I really like that. So those are my 3 finishes for this video of what I've got at the moment. In my last video I shared the home stitchness heart that I stitched my mum for Mother's Day, and a few people asked, I hope your mum enjoys it, and she loves it. I don't know where she's placed it in her house. Maybe I'll have to get a photo from her, but no, she's very appreciative and really enjoyed that. So it's nice. I've come to terms that I love stitching and cross stitching, and there's just things that I want to do, but you know, there's only so much space I have to display things in my house, and realizing it is a really nice gift to give to someone. A lot of time, like hours of time when you add it up, goes into a project. So if you can give it away to someone who knows is going to be really appreciative, it's such a nice sort of thing to do. And I'm probably sort of looking at now as then that's a good excuse to buy more supplies and do more stitching, because it's a gift for someone. So I get the joy of stitching it and finishing the project or the design, and then I can, you know, as you already move on to the next one, so at least someone else can enjoy it, as opposed to my numerous stitches I've got sitting in a cupboard. So everyone's getting cross-stitch gifts this year, yay. But next onto my whips, so what I've got going at the moment. So I've got them down, sorry, I've just got things all over the floor. The first one I've got on the go, well, as I showed last time, was the Animal House, which is the Satsuma Street secret stitch along that's running at the moment. So this is, if you haven't seen this online already, this is part 2 that came out a week ago, Friday last week, so about 10 days ago. So part 1 was the peacock in its house, and then part 2 was the super cute lion and zebra in their little house. So I'm interested to see then what's going to happen going upwards. My worry is that these parts 5 and 6 look quite big, but I mean, it's manageable, so we'll get there and no worries whatsoever with that side. This is my progress. So I guess technically it's like a finish because I'm up to date with it. I sort of stitched this all last weekend. So I've got the lion and the zebra in there, very cute. I love the colour she uses. I find that when you look at the pattern, if you've got the pattern, is that the colours are quite muted, and then you go and pull the thread out of the, you know, the thread collection, and you're like, wow, that's a really like super, I don't know, the colour's showing up well enough, but super bright orange and purple. So she's just, yeah, super talented when it comes to colours, and I think that's probably why I've done so many of Jodie's designs. But yeah, so this one here, and I'll talk about this in a few moments as well, is this one here I've been stitching in hand. So I've been how I always sort of have been stitching. I'm sort of looking at moving, sort of bringing it between either using a hoop and in hand, but this is what I'm doing at the moment. And what I wanted to show you, and I'm going to touch on this in my haul as well, is I recently purchased these sewing clips from a New Zealand supplier that brings them in. She's on Facebook, Jenny, and her Facebook page is sewing, let me just check my notes so I get it right, Sewing Clips NZ. So I'll put the links and I'll put some more details below. And if you keep watching, I've got a little giveaway for some of these. But I bought these online. I've been using like bulldog clips, which I thought these are probably could really be bad and snag the fabric and not work so well. So these have been amazing. They're super, this is the large size. So quite a large sort of, you can get a good grip of fabric, and the smaller ones. And what's great if you are stitching in hand is that you can just use them to hold your stitching in place. I've found that they haven't been crushing the stitches or doing like that. So then you can sort of, you know, wherever you're stitching, kind of use those to kind of hold the fabric in place. You don't have as much roll up, and depending on how you work it within your hand. So yeah, so I'll put some more details. Those will be later on in this video, but they've been amazing, and I've replaced all my bulldog clips, which yeah, probably not the best way for sewing. So that's my animal house. Then the next one that I've been working on is it's another Satsuma Street design. I think I'm a big fangirl, let's be honest. This one I'm doing, I mentioned in my last video, I just made a start on it, it's a gift for a friend. It's called Pretty Little Baby, and I've actually printed out the pattern to make it easier. So this is it here. My friend's baby is assumingly not going to be called Emily, so I'm going to update it with their name, and then I'll have to keep that a secret in case they watch the video, until at least it's been gifted to them. So this is what I've been working on. This is my update to date. So I have done quite a bit. I can find a picture of where I was in the last video. I'm just going to put this on I'll just so you can see it a bit better. So this is where I'm at now. So I'm using a silver Ada, which is quite fun and stitchy. This one's a great stitch at night time because it's the light reflection I find makes it quite easy to stitch on, and I've been doing this one in hand. I think when I showed last time I'd finished this sort of middle tower, but I've stitched, yeah, done quite a bit. So I've just basically there's a block of buildings here to still stitch, and then there's sort of a line around here. When I do stitch out, as I said before, I'm quite systematic. So I'll stitch this bit and I'll just do this bit. And so I decided there's quite a lot of colours in here. So if I've got the colour threaded for this bit, I'll also do where the colour fits in this bottom row. And I mean, this is probably giving me yeah, where this giving me this sort of panic at the moment. It's a bit weird. This is a bit bizarre for me. I normally would have stitched this whole bit and then do the bottom bit. But I think I'm just, yeah, maybe being a little bit too over the top. I don't know if anyone else stitches like that, whether you're just a colour sporadic stitch everywhere or you systematic a bit at a time. But yeah, I think it's looking great. I love the colours, so cute. And I'm sure they'll love it as well. And so that's that one there. So that one there, I'm hoping to have finished. I think my goal was sort of mid-June to have it done in time to be gifted. But I think I'll probably work on this one today and sort of get as much as I can done. And I think I'll probably have it finished in the next video. So that's that one there. Then my last whip. Oh, I forgot to mention. So on the one bit I haven't done on all this is all the metallic threads. So that's what I'm sort of saving towards the end, which again, maybe I'll be kicking myself in my next video update of doing all the metallic threads last. What I did buy, I had lots of suggestions in my last video, was some Thread Magic. So it's not lip gloss, but comes in a little container. There's sort of like a little ridged edge, and then you kind of just put your fabric and run it through across it, you know, which way you choose. And I think it's supposed to add, yeah, some conditioning to the fabric. So I tried that with the metallics on the tea party with the ghost, and it seemed to work quite well. I haven't stitched a lot with metallics, so to know the difference of using it or not, but I didn't have any major issues, so I figured that's a good thing. So I'll definitely be using that, and then I don't know, maybe I should try some metallics first and not just sit down and have to do them all in one go. But you know, it is a gift, so it has to get done, so I can't really just get to the metallics and then decide to leave it and put it away in its bag. So it will get done at some stage in the next few weeks. Then my last whip I've got at the moment. So yeah, I said in my last video, I'm trying to decide how many sort of projects to have on the go. And I think sort of 3 is a good number. Maybe I might push up to 5 if I start doing Pretty Little Grease and another one as well. But enjoying kind of having the cells quite good, just to have continuous stitching, something else a little bit bigger. I mean, I'm not a full coverage type stitcher, so my projects I consider a bit bigger are definitely not in the scale of what other people are stitching. But the other one I did start was, I've become obsessed with Lindy's Stitches. So Stephanie at Lindy Stitches, she is an amazing designer. Her designs are just so quirky and fun and whimsical and everything that I love about cross stitch. So I've just been kind of deciding which ones of hers to start first. So the first one I decided to start was, I bought this pattern called Halloween Tales, which consists of, so she sells her patterns online both as a PDF and a printed pattern, which I think is great. So I bought the PDF. I'm, all for PDF. I do my stitching off my phone, and I live in New Zealand, so everything can save on shipping. But I've started on this one here, which is called Franken's Cat. So in the Halloween Tales, you get both designs. The other one's called Purple Transport. Franken's Cat is they're both based off artwork by Terry Runyon. Definitely worked with Terry to sort of see how they could bring their both talents together. So Franken's Cat was what I decided to start on. I had a look around to see if I could find the cord for linen, which is called oh goodness me, Papaya Loop Linen by Colour and Cotton. I'm probably saying that completely wrong. Papaya Loop Linen. I feel like it's papaya is a type of fruit. So yeah, I couldn't find that linen online. She does sell the linen through her shop, I believe, and whether she saw that colourway in stock, but I've got no patience to wait for shipping from the US, and it's taking, US shipping's quite a while to get to New Zealand at the moment. So I decided to start on the cat, and I am doing it on a linen I purchased from Stitch NZ in New Zealand. It's called, it's a petrol blue 28 count casual linen. So hopefully the colour's right, and I'll use this. So I'm stitching this one here in the hoop. This is where I'm at so far. So I started this on Friday night, so today's Sunday morning, or Sunday afternoon now, but I stitched the jacket of the cat and started his body. So next I'm going to probably work on filling in the body and the shoes, and I might leave the face to last, just to be a bit different. I absolutely love this colour linen. I bought this a few weeks ago and kind of been deciding what to do with it, and I still think that the colours from the cat will really pop on this linen as well. This linen is, if the colour's not quite right, it's the colour 3808 in DMC. And sort of what's closely related to it, which sort of works. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful colour. And this one here, so I am stitching this one in a hoop. So I've been watching a bit of YouTube, Flosstube lately, and I came across Marie from Stitches and Diamonds, who is based in the UK. I think I came across her Instagram account. Someone else shared a stitch along hashtag that she's doing of the Beatles Blackbird stitches, which I showed. Bought a couple of their patterns last week, the Yellow Submarine and Eleanor Rigby. So I came across her through that hashtag, as you do, kind of scrolling on Instagram, just sort of going down this like rabbit hole of people and hashtags and designers and what they're up to. And so then I came across her, and then I came across her Flosstube. And so I think I caught up on most of her videos over the last few weeks. She does some amazing projects, and yeah, super fun designs, really easy and really enjoyable to watch. So definitely I'll put all her details below, but to check out her channel. But she did a review on these hoops, which are the Nurge hoops. So they've always done, well, I guess they've maybe always done these. They do the traditional round hoop, but they do these sort of square shaped hoops. So they're made of a plastic, and they have a super easy sort of unscrew system. Pull your fabric tight and the tension really stays. So they work really well. So I decided to order some of those, which I've got my haul later on, but they have been, super easy. I haven't stitched in a hoop for a very long time. And when I did, I probably did buy like cheap hoops, which I don't know. I remember buying a hoop once in the UK and it literally gave me splinters. So I've really quickly learned that you do pay for quality and pay for what you get. But these are really lightweight, very easy to use. I then use my clips to kind of hold the excess fabric to the side, but really enjoying these. And I'll share some more about Nurge and what I think of these in a moment. But otherwise, that's this current whip. So I'll probably work on this in the next few weeks. It'll be good to finish it. The other design, Purple Transport, with the horse, I have got the threads. So I bought these at the shop over the last few weeks. So I've got the colours there for the horse, and I think there's a couple of DMCs in there as well. What's great with her, just going back to her sort of designs and her website as well, is when you look at her patterns on her website, she lists all the called for like flosses and DMCs and like these are week style works, whatever she's using, which I find is quite useful, because then even before you buy or decide to splurge and buy the pattern, you can see what threads are called for. So then you can even, at the same time, organize and order your floss that you want to have before you buy the pattern, or check to see what you've already got in stash. Or, I think it's, otherwise sometimes you get patterns and then you get they say it includes so many colors, and then those colors, you don't have any of those and you have to substitute a lot or buy a lot more. So I really like how she, I could already kind of plan and buy and get these ordered online before I even purchased the pattern. But yeah, so this one here, the horse is on Riviera olive linen, which is a Permin Woodshout linen, 32 count, and I can't get that colorway. I can't find it in New Zealand. There is a local shop that does stock the Permin linens, and I think they can order it in, but it could be like a few months. So I have contacted a UK shop that order it in, and they're going to order it in for me. So I'm just trying to decide whether to get it sent to some family in the UK when it arrives for me to get from them, or to have it shipped to New Zealand. But I am going to do that one on the olive, because I think the purples and everything look really lovely, and I think then the olive will go sort of well with the petrol blue when they're next to each other. We'll see, who knows, but lovely. So then that is my current whip. So the Cell, Pretty Little Baby, and Franken's Cat from Halloween Tales. So that's what I've got going on at the moment. We'll wait and see what sort of started next from here. But next on to my haul for my last few weeks. So I have done some shopping. I have got some sort of things underway. I ordered the threads for the Blackbird Designs Yellow Submarine and Eleanor Rigby. So they haven't arrived yet, hoping that they might turn up in the mail this week, and then I might start one of those this week. We'll wait and see. Otherwise, for my birthday, my mother and father, but I assumed it was probably my mum's idea, got me a voucher for Ribbon Rose, which is my local needlework shop in Auckland. It's an amazing store. If you're in Auckland, I'm sure you've been there. If you're in New Zealand, I'm sure you've seen pictures, and it's on your list of things places to visit when you come to Auckland. And if you're from overseas, they have a really good online shop. So they sell everything online. So it's I assume most things you can get from your local providers overseas as well, but they have a really lovely online store as well. So I purchased the Thread Magic. I got the remaining metallic threads for my Pretty Little Baby. I don't really know the best way to store these. They're kind of just gone a mess, and then I thought I think this one here I already had, but when I was done with it, I just went in the bottom of a thread box, because I was like, I don't want to see that thread ever again, and now it's back out. but yeah, bought the rest of those I needed. I purchased a pattern from them as well. So I'm sure everyone knows about the cottage garden samplings designs that are going around. So they did I guess it's like a stitch along. They're doing a series throughout the year called A Year in the Woods, and I think every month, from what I understand, they're releasing a new animal. So I purchased this one here called the Swans, which is yeah, I think they're really beautiful. Just trying to decide, the recommended linen is a 40 count Mirage linen by Picture This Plus, whether I can get that in ordered across, or whether I might try and find something similar online. But I haven't yet stitched on 40 count, and I really do want to give that a go. So I'll probably figure out what linen to use. I've been messaging a few people on Instagram that have done this design under the hashtag, just ask them what their linen choice is, because it's really hard to choose, like, to look at linen colors online. And I find, at least sometimes, when you're either seeing people's photos on Instagram or when you're watching Flosstube and someone does a haul, I love seeing people's hauls of linens, because you just get a slightly different light that the color's in, and you can get a better feel for how it works. I'm a big person into color, and I love sort of seeing things and seeing it in person. So that's where I do struggle with having to buy online. But I'm looking forward to stitching this one here in the beautiful Swans. I bought some raw 35 count linen from them as well, which I'll show you in a moment when I find it on the floor, and some threads. So I did a bit of shopping there. I also did some online shopping from another cross-stitch quilting supplies shop in Dunedin. So Auckland, where I'm in, is the top of New Zealand, the top of the North Island, and Dunedin's like towards the south of the South Island. So, you know, other opposite ends of the country almost. Yeah, Dunedin's a great place. I've visited there a few times. My sister studied down there. It's beautiful city, known for its amazing Otago University and student life and everything. That's sort of what I experienced when I was there. But there are some Flosstubers, Victoria and Catherine from Neat and Not by the Sea. I mentioned in my last video. Definitely check them out. They're based in Dunedin, and their local needlework shop is called Stitch Witches. So I saw in their latest video that Victoria had purchased a pair of scissors from Stitch Witches, and the scissors are Kelmscott scissors, which I've seen online, like from just Instagram posts for a while, and I really like their scissors. And so I didn't know there was a New Zealand supplier. I had seen them, I could order them from overseas, but again, once you pay for shipping, it just becomes a bit extreme. So when I saw that the Stitch Witches had the scissors, I made like an impulse buy last Friday night. So I ordered 2 pairs because I couldn't help myself. The first pair I got, these ones here. So I'm trying to, how do you show scissors in a lovely way that doesn't look like scary? Oh. So these are, it didn't work, did it? These are the primitive sort of matte black little round hoop scissors, and they're super cute and really comfortable and easy to use. So I ordered those, and then I saw these ones and I couldn't resist. These are their Flower Power scissors in the yellow, and they're so cute. I think when I got them, my partner said, like, don't you already have some scissors? I've got some of the, classic stalk scissors. And I was like, yeah, but I don't have these ones, and these look cute. And I mean, it's hard to explain to someone that's not into cross-stitching or sewing why, I need multiple pairs of scissors and scissors that I enjoy using, but we all have our own hobbies, so that's fine. So I ordered those, and that's when I also, from there, they have the Nurge square hoops. So as I showed before, I ordered this hoop, which is the size 3, I believe. It's 190, number 3. So this one's 195 millimeters by 220. So I ordered that one there, and I also ordered the size 4, which is the larger one, which is 250 by 280. I thought that will work well for stitching out one of the city designs. But yeah, the hoops I find them a lot easier to unscrew and use compared to the wooden hoops. So you unscrew it, then they are plastic ridged. They have this like a ridged indent on that side, and that side like slots into it. So once you you put the fabric, as you do, across the bottom hoop, or how you place it in there, and then you slot it. It does take a bit of effort just to get it into place. So that's the first step. But once it's in there, I find you get really good like tension, and then you just pull it a bit tight on the edges, and then just screw it up. And so far, like, I have only been using the number 3 hoop with Franken's cat for like 2 nights of stitching, so I can't say I can give like a super honest review, and I haven't used round hoops for a very long time, but so far the tension's held really well. So I've got, you know, no complaints. I was influenced by 2 other Flosstubers and bought hoops and scissors. Like, I'm probably, maybe I'll, you know, let me know if I influence you. I like being an enabler, so at least make me feel better if I'm enabling someone else and passing on the shopping bug. So yeah, looking forward to giving these a go. What I then decided was whether to, because I'm a in-hand stitcher, I find it quite, quite fast stitching in hand, and I sort of do a sewing stitch, and I find my stitches, I mean, hopefully they look relatively neat. I think, you know, I've kind of probably mastered the sort of tension that I need to use over years of just stitching in hand, and I think it will probably still be my preferred method, especially when we're traveling, or, you know, when you've got a smaller project that is in a relatively simple count to use. So I will probably still continue to stitch in hand, but I did want to try, stitching in a hoop. And then I was like, when I used to stitch in a hoop, it's the hand goes back and forth, which maybe that's a good motion to keep your body moving a bit more, but I thought it's going to drive me maybe a little bit crazy, and I always have to hold the hoop. And then I find I've been getting a bit of like, you don't need to hear my health issues, but a bit of shoulder blade pain. And I don't know if it's from the gym or from stitching, or who knows. It probably is just from my posture. As my partner and my mother say, I've got bad posture, and I sit at the computer all day for work. So that's probably it. But I thought I want to get a stand so that I can stitch with 2 hands and master that skill. And then hopefully, you know, then that will keep my body upright and keep my shoulders relaxed. And I don't know, I'm getting old. I'm almost my mid-30s now. So I need to keep myself, so I can be stitching for another 30 plus 40 years. That's the goal. So I asked on my Instagram if anyone had any recommendations on if they'd use the Nurge stands. So I'd seen them online in stock in a few New Zealand stockists and overseas. And you always find a few odd YouTube videos, or I found a couple of old blogs posts. People don't really do blogs anymore. It's a bit unfortunate. I like looking at reading text and seeing pictures, but I guess videos is where the world's at. To ask if anyone had any opinions or any thoughts about using it. I mean, I had seen like Zeb, who's in the New Zealand cross stitch group, is an absolute gem and the most amazing knowledge about anything cross stitch related. She's a superstar. I asked, picked her brain about hoops and stands and what to use, and she recommended a few, like the Lowry stand, which someone had at our cross stitching group last weekend, and I've heard that they're amazing. And then along with a few other sort of smaller brand stands from overseas in Australia as well. So I've been looking at those and thinking, do I splurge on like a Lowry stand, and then how would I fit it into where our couch is and where I sit, and how I stitch between. We've got a sort of a sitting area upstairs and downstairs, so is it easy to get up and down the stairs? All those sort of, you want to make sure it works for you before you sort of decide what to buy or what to invest in. And so the most kindest thing happened to me. So Fiona we follow each other on Instagram. She's in Dunedin, so again down south. She messaged me and said that she had a Nurge stand, and I believe, I'm just trying to read my notes, they call it this one there in their table stand, that she purchased. I think she purchased it, she said, in lockdown, and just found it wasn't for her. The way she stitches, I think she stitches in a hoop, and just found that the stand wasn't really working for her, so she wanted to pass it on to another stitcher, that to see if I enjoyed it, and if I find I don't work with it, then I'll pass it on to another stitcher and go from there. So I was amazed. It was the most amazing message to get from her, saying that she would happily gift me her stand, and she shipped it up from Dunedin to Auckland. It came in 2 days. Sometimes New Zealand mail is 2 weeks. No, it's not that bad, but it was arrived here by I think Thursday, and I used all my self-control to keep working my normal job, of course, my day job, and to wait until it was until Friday night that I managed to get it set up and give it a go. But this is it here. So they do a few different stands. They do one that they call their seat stand, I believe, one that's called a floor stand, and this is their table stand. So I think it's designed that this can sit on a table and you can stitch from it as well, but it's also designed that you sit on it. So you put your legs, or you sit this underneath you and you have your legs across here, or as I stitch, I normally have my feet lying up on the couch, so I just have my feet lying over it. And then this is fully, these all unscrew, but they're fully flexible and rotate around, so folds up. You can really then get it into whatever sort of, it's like some weird sort of, I don't know, I feel like I'm a child in a sand, you know, like a sandpit with a digger. But whatever sort of position's comfortable. So I found like I've been adjusting it a lot as I'm sitting there, as I move around, I can easily get at the right angle. Then this here sort of unscrews. So if I just tighten this up. So if you take your project and then that just slots in there, and then you just screw the little, I found that when it was stitched on the fabric, it was kind of pushing on the fabric, so I kind of just do it on the plastic edge of this. I mean, you can definitely use a ring embroidery hoop as well, but then once it's on there, that sits like really tight, so you can put quite a lot of like weight on that and it won't pull, and then you can, you know, get it into whatever position feels more comfortable for you to stitch in. Do find like I think the lower is quite good where you can easily flip the stitching up and down if you're like doing your like, you know, threading and starting at the back. This one here, that does have like this little thing unscrews, and this goes up and down, but the easiest option I found was just to unscrew the top and pull the stitching out. So then to do my back and my knots, but very lightweight, like it weighs like next to nothing, and so far been loving it. So if people are interested, I'm happy to do more of like a review post on this. I think I should use it for more than like 2 nights to give a more honest review. And again, I don't have a lot of experience in other stands, but if it's something of interest, let me know and I'll post like a separate video, because I know then how useful sometimes those videos are to someone searching the World Wide Web, you know, in a year's time, looking for someone that's used this type of stand. But yeah, I was absolutely amazed. Fiona, you're an absolute star. I'll sending you something back, Stitchy Kindness, so hopefully that will arrive in your mailbox in the next, well, it's next week, but let's say the next, you know, whenever it arrives via New Zealand Post. But oh, amazing. So that's been super cool to use. So yeah, that's another lot of Stitchy Kindness. I've had like, it's been a crazy few weeks of just amazing Stitchy Kindness from the stitching community. So the other purchase I made, as I showed you before, were these sewing clips, which have been great to use instead of my bulldog clips. They are sold, I guess, as an alternative to pins. So even if you're into quilting or you know, any sort of sewing, it's just an alternative to hold your fabric together. I mean, they're definitely not brand new. That there's, you know, a few other suppliers in the market that will sell them, including like, I guess you can import them from overseas suppliers as well and buy them in like big bulk packages. But again, I just wanted to see who sold them locally in New Zealand, so I just searched like sewing clips New Zealand, and then I came up on Facebook with the Facebook page from Jenny's shop. So Jenny does some other sewing and has her main business, and this is sort of her side hobby, or side, not hobby, her side business that she's running as well. So Sewing Clips New Zealand's on Facebook. I don't know, I mean, you can message her and see if she sends overseas. Otherwise, I guess you can find a similar product overseas closer to you. But if you're in New Zealand, then these are amazing. And I ordered some of her small, so she does the 2 different sizes, the small clips and the large clips. So the small clips, the large clips are your sort of larger size. So brilliant for, I mean, they're even good just holding like bits of paper and everything together as well. And then the small clips as well. So she's, you know, ordered those, sent them to, she sent them to me, sort of messaged her back and forth saying what I do and cross stitch, and you know, she was then so kind to reach out and say that she would you know, love to see how they sort of work for stitches, and if it's something that would be, you know, like trying to work out what's the best market or trying to reach other people. So she offered me some to give away. So I do have a giveaway. This is limited to New Zealand subscribers or New Zealand watchers, just because of shipping costs and getting it around the world. But she sent me her kit of, another kit of sort of the other size clips, and in her it comes in this most amazing power shell bag. So I realized power is probably not something that other overseas viewers might know. So power, spelled P-A-U-A, is it's the Maori name for a New Zealand species. I think of it technically as like a sea snail. So it kind of, I'm not very good with biology either. Like a snail, it's inside the shell, in the ocean. You kind of farm them by kind of out. There's very, very strict rules on collection and farming of power because it is a very protected sort of species. And yeah, but they come in. So I'll put a picture of what a power looks like. I was saying to my partner, I don't think I've ever had power meat. And then he reminded me that my auntie bought some for Christmas this year. So we did have it at Christmas. It does have like a very, kind of like a mussel, like a very salty sea taste. Probably not my preference. I think I had one or two of them and thought that's enough for me. But they also, their shells are really beautiful. So the colors are amazing. They're very popular to use as souvenir pieces and jewelry. So that's where their colors are like what she's done on this beautiful little bag. So the purples and greens and blue tones, they're really lovely. But in here for the giveaway winner, I think it is 100 of these little clips, and then I'll put in a couple of the bigger clips as well. But if you're in New Zealand and you'd like to win 100 little clips, or share them with your family and friends, because there's enough in here, I mean, depending on what you're sewing or quilting or what you're doing, then to enter, I'll just like you to use the word power in your name, so P-A-U-A, not in your comment below. So if you can comment below, I'll draw the winner in a couple of weeks' time before my next video, and we'll send these out to someone in New Zealand. So yeah, thank you so much, Jenny, for sharing these with me, and I'm looking forward to giving them a go. And then that's that. There's so much to cover today. I've got notes, but I'm just a bit over. This video is already like 47 minutes long. It's a lot longer than my last one. So I'll quickly just go through what I have got planned to stitch next. So I've bought a couple of patterns, and whether any of these interest anyone else to join me along, I don't know when I'll start these, but yeah, as I said, Lindy Stitches, I did some more shopping. So I purchased her, I believe this was a stitch along last year, called Funky Menagerie, which is this really cool one with little animals. And I've seen some pictures of it on Instagram where people have changed the colorways of the animals to other sort of variated flosses. So that's really cool. So I thought this is one I'm gonna get into. I thought, again, it's one that I can stitch like a little bit at a time with the different animals, which will be quite fun. I have also purchased Little Bo Peep by Gera from Creative Poppy Patterns. Which again is just like a small stitch, which will be, her stuff is so cute. I mean, I saw someone describe something the other day as whimsical, and I thought that's a perfect way to sum up my stitching. Like what I whimsical and quirky and cute and fun is everything I love. So that one there is one that I've got, set to do next. And then the other pattern which I have kitted up is this one, which is from Stacey Nash Primitives, which, I mean, I can't believe I didn't know about all these designers like until I really embarked on my Flosstube Instagram a few months ago. Like, I feel like I've been living under a rock. She does these animal cracker series, which are then turned into animals. So this is Primrose, and I love rabbits and bunnies. So this is definitely one I've got set to stitch. So this is the pattern. Again, like, she offers all the fabrics and things you need when you're buying it. You can buy these all like at your local needlework shop, or she does sell all the PDFs on Etsy. So I'll put that below. Again, it's just makes it a very quick impulse of what to stitch. This is stitched on 36 count Weeks Dye Work linen in Havana, which is quite a dark looking linen. I think it's impossible to get Weeks Dye Works in New Zealand at the moment, and it's a bit more dear compared to other linens, and it's a full coverage like little bunny. So at the moment I've just got some 35 count raw linen, so the Edinburgh raw linen side width one, whether I might just stitch that on that. And then I bought the cord falls. We've got 3 flosses in it, which are all Weeks Dye Work. So we've got, see if it shows, oh goodness, I'm all over the show. So we've got sand, charcoal and parchment, which are just like an ever slightly variegated tinge to them. So looking forward to seeing how that turns out. So this is one I probably think I might start next. It's a relatively, seems like a relatively straightforward stitch. It's not overly big, and then I can, yeah, do another finish into a cute little bunny to go on a shelf. I don't know what I'll do with it. But those are what I've got next. So that's sort of what I have been buying and doing in the last couple of weeks. I've been watching a bit of Flosstube. So the sort of videos I'm watching lately, I've kind of, Stephanie Webb from Lindy Stitches. I've just been kind of catching up on a lot of her old Flosstubes. I just love her style and the way she films. And if you haven't seen her, well, if you haven't seen her designs, check out her website. If you haven't yet come across her Flosstubes, watch those. She's just, yeah, seems like a really amazing person, and I'm really enjoying catching up on her old videos. The other sort of, the other Flosstubers I'm watching is Yaz from Yasmin's Made with Love, and she did a lovely shout out to me with her last 2 videos. I watched her latest video last night. Although she made comment that I was from Australia, which I find quite funny, because Australia and New Zealand, we're so closely aligned, but there's this sort of New Zealand, Australia, I guess sort of like we're at odds with each other, which is this weird because we're not, but I think we're so similar that it's just this running sort of joke with Aussies and Kiwis that we're quite, we're not the same, which we definitely are. And, living in London, if you're a Kiwi or Aussie, you're just lumped into the same group, and you just, you instantly make friends with anyone from Australia or New Zealand and in the UK, because we just kind of stick together. But yeah, Yaz she does some stunning projects, a lot of Barbara Anna designs. She's got an amazing wall in her room of all her sort of finished ladies, which is really cool. And she just seems like a real superwoman. She's a mum, she's a stitcher, she's studying, she works. Like, I don't know where she finds the time. She must be like I don't know if she sleeps. But yeah, and she runs. Like, she's doing like a half marathon, she said, this weekend. I was just like, I'm here stitching, I work. I don't have any children, so I've just, I've got a lot more the luxury of time, I suppose, but I don't know where she fits it all in. And then the other stitcher I've caught up with recently is Megan from Seattle Stitches. So I think she's a relatively new stitcher, but she's so cheerful. Like, her videos are so full of energy, and she's just got a great style about her. She's doing some really cool projects at the moment, and she's starting some new samplers, which I've encouraged her on Instagram to just get into, but she does a lot more sort of the slightly more fuller coverage pieces. And she just seems to have the most amazing book collection. Like, behind her, she's got this like perfectly immaculate bookshelf, and I'm like, that is super cool. I follow a lot of stitchers, and they say they read a lot, and I'm like, where do you find time to read and stitch? I'm definitely a stitcher at a Netflix, I can, a TV watcher, because then I can kind of, do both at the same time. But these people that stitch and then read, I'm like, I don't know, maybe you can pick up a skill of reading while stitching, I'm not sure. But those are some shout outs of people I've been following lately. And then, my videos, it's getting close to an hour, which is really long. So I hope you've been getting some stitching or something done while I've been talking. But lastly, just, for any of those interested, a bit of life update of what's going on in my life. So me and my partner are super fortunate. We're actually heading off to Europe in July. So it's just under 2 months' time, which has come up really quickly. So in New Zealand, the rules with COVID and everything, it's been up until the start of this year, it's like near impossible to get into New Zealand. So even as a Kiwi, when we were returning from London, so we came back from London in February last year, 2021, like to get in, you got to go on this, like, it's like a lucky ballot draw to get into what they call like managed isolation quarantine, which is a 2-week stay in a hotel. But to get a slot to get into that is like next level impossible. It involves a lot of refreshing for hours on the computer to try and get a slot, to then try and get a plane ticket, and everything, like, stars have to align. It has to be this like miracle happen where everything had to work out. And we were super lucky last year that we were able to get into New Zealand, especially so my partner, he's Scottish, so to then get him across as well, like to get visas and everything sorted. And it's been like, we're super grateful to be back in New Zealand and love it here. Now that the world seems to be opening up again, it means that we can now freely travel to and from New Zealand. And I believe from maybe it's July, anyone can come to New Zealand, which is really cool. So they've kind of slowly been opening up to more tourists. So now it's like, come everyone. And like, New Zealand we've got such a big economy based on tourism. It's like our bread and butter. Like, and Kiwis and New Zealanders, I think, are the most like welcoming people. Like, if anyone watching has come to New Zealand, like, definitely like get in touch. Like, yeah, I think we're the most, anyone and all my friends I know that they just open their doors and open their kitchen and say, come in for a meal or stay. We love having people in New Zealand. We've got such an amazing country and we just love showing it off. So if you're coming to New Zealand, let me know. But yeah, so we're going to the UK. So we're not going to the UK, we're going to Europe in July. So we're heading over there in July for about 3 and a bit weeks. We've got a week in Italy, so sort of traveling around Italy, catching up with some of my partner's family that are meeting us there, and some friends are coming across. That's going to be really cool to see them and enjoy hopefully some hot summer days. We're then going to Croatia for a week. It was on our list of places to travel to, we never got there, so we're looking forward to doing a bit of island hopping in Croatia. And then we're off to Poland. So we've got some friends that are getting married in Poland. Super excited to experience what a Polish wedding is like. When we went to Brazil in February 2020, it was for another friend's wedding. So experiencing a Brazilian wedding was like super cool as well. So it's how different cultures do things differently. Really interests me. So we can't wait. And then we've got just confirmed this morning that some friends, some maybe friends from the UK are going to come across and meet us in Poland before we fly back to New Zealand. So I also can't wait to see them. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a whirlwind trip. 3 countries in 3 weeks, which is actually not that bad. Like, I've traveled before where you're doing like a country in a weekend, but we kind of like to experience a bit more now, and the food and cuisine, and just relax and swim and bike and all those things we want to enjoy doing. Can't wait to go to Europe. So that's where that's sort of what's going on in our life at the moment. We're staying otherwise relatively quiet, apart from my cross-stitch shopping, trying to save money for our holiday. Is what's on the cards at the moment. I'm also trying to decide what to stitch when I'm on holiday. So, I mean, it's like trying to decide what to take with me. I can't take multiple projects, and then I'm like, what if I get one done and I don't have another one to start? And I'm like, but how much stitching will I actually do on holiday? Like, these are all the big problems I'm facing at the moment. So in the huge scale, it's super not a problem at all. But yeah, trying to decide like if I don't know whether to do like a more like a one color piece to take with me to avoid taking a lot of different threads, or whether just to take something like that I enjoy stitching. I think that like to get from New Zealand to Italy is around about 30 or so hours travel. So there's a big flight from here to Singapore, and then a big flight from Singapore to Frankfurt, and then Frankfurt to Bologna, where we're flying into. So, I mean, you have to sleep on the plane, of course, and eat, but otherwise there's really nothing to do apart from watching movies and stitching. So I assume I can probably at least get in a good like 15 hours of stitching done. So maybe I set myself a challenge. How long can I stitch for on a plane? Yeah, so if anyone's got any good stitching travel projects that you've done before or that you find easy to do, would love to hear what you stitch when you're on holiday. I probably think like when I'm actually on holiday, like I won't be doing a lot of stitching, mainly because it's quite warm. So and we're family and friends and like travel. But there will be some evenings, I'm sure, as well, where we're just sitting, having a wine, doing some stitching, eating some good food, and relaxing. So I can't wait. So that's what's sort of going on in our life at the moment. Otherwise, it's sort of just work and business and stitching as normal. But it's been great having you. If you've managed to stay for almost a full hour, I might just go just over an hour, like, thank you very much. Would love to, so to summarize, I guess, love to hear any comments, questions, if anything you've got, anything you'd like me to show. So if you'd like me to do like a review type video on the Nurge stand or anything else that I use, or how I do my stitching, like just let me know. I'm happy to film any sort of videos of interest. I thought about doing like a thread haul video, and I was going to show in this video, okay, one more thing, okay, which I've forgotten about, which is, I said I was going to go back to my mum. So for my birthday, mum stitched me some amazing, she sewed me some amazing project bags. So mum's makes all my project bags. She is like a most amazing quilter and sewer. So I thought I'd just quickly show you some that I got for my birthday. And she does them all with this like plastic cover, so you can see what's in the inside. So there's this really cute one with different sort of lines. She then, the fabric, I believe it was like an embroidered fabric on the back, but she has quilted this cool circle pattern. So that's a really cool one. She then did these two for me using a squirrel fabric. which is really cute. So the way she's then like finished these, so she quilted that one on the back like a tree. So like she's like next level amazing is my mum. And this one here goes with it. So I thought that could be like a good one to keep like fancy threads in when I'm using this as like with the main project in it. So keep these two together. And then one of my favorites, because I love Marimekko, is the Unico Poppy. So this one here that she made me as well. And the back she sort of quilted the flowers. So she's like super talented as my mother. I love her dearly. I've got many other project bags. I could do like a project bag haul, and I know that, so yeah, she and my sister are both coming up next weekend, and I know that there's at least one more project bag coming up with mum for me. So if, yeah, I don't know, maybe if you'd like to see any of my mums, she does some stitching, quilting sort of projects. I'm happy to like rope her into doing a video segment next weekend. So if you would like a guest feature from my mother, let me know and I can twist her arm into getting on the camera with me. But yeah, so otherwise that's now the end of my video because it now has gone over an hour. Yeah, would love it for you to comment, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to get notified of when a video is coming out. Like the video, love it if you could share me with other people that you think would like my whimsical different sort of style of what I do. But otherwise, if you're in New Zealand, yeah, apologies I can't send the clips to the world just because of shipping, but if you're in New Zealand and would like to be in the draw to win the sewing clips, then just use the word power, like PowerShell, P-A-U-A, in your comment below, and we'll draw out a winner for those. But otherwise, I hope wherever you are, whether it's a weekend or weekday, you're having a fantastic day. Keep stitching, and I'll catch you all next time.